CARICOM's foreign ministers have talks with Venezuela's opposition leader. And in sport, reactions to the defeat of Dave Cameron in the cricket West Indies elections. I'm Ricardo Roberts, and this is Caribbean in 10 for Monday, March 25th, 2019. I'll be back with the details after the break.
Well, I want to start this week with a list of names. Hickenlooper, Inslee, Klobuchar, Booker, Harris, Castro, Gabbard, Delaney, Williamson, Yang. Each of these names are connected to one another. And one might guess they're the special teams unit of the Los Angeles Rams, but they're not. Let me add a few more and see if you catch on where I'm going with this. Warren, Sanders, Bloomberg, Brown, Gillibrand, Buttigieg. Figured it out yet? Let me add one more. Biden.
I think, to some extent, the wave of enthusiasm in the foreign financial press about Peña Nieto was always artificially cultivated, and very deliberately sought by the new Mexican, the elite who came in with Peña Nieto, his team. His finance minister in particular, a man called Luis Videgaray, who went to college with Jared Kushner, so he has an in with the Trump White House. And this man was reportedly the brains behind the Peña Nieto presidency and its economic program.
CARICOM foreign ministers who met with Venezuela's opposition leader Juan Guaido over the weekend say the discussions were a significant step towards a peaceful solution to the crisis in the South American nation. The talks were held Saturday with Guaido joining the discussions via video conference while his delegation met with CARICOM foreign ministers in Barbados. Guaido is seeking to unseat President Nicolas Maduro, who was sworn into office for a second consecutive term in January. He has declared himself interim president. A brief statement issued by the Guyana-based CARICOM Secretariat yesterday said the foreign ministers acknowledged Saturday's meeting as a significant initial step in a series of potential engagements that should unfold by agreed mechanisms within the framework of the Constitution of Venezuela and the rule of law. It said the talks provided a greater understanding of Guaido's views and perspectives on how to move forward in the search for peaceful solutions, as well as his willingness to take part in meaningful discussions. Now, Guaido later tweeted that the talks were mainly an opportunity for him to express his views on the situation in Venezuela and to discuss the way forward. St. Vincent and the Grenadines Prime Minister Dr. Ralph Gonsalves has described the recent meeting between United States President Donald Trump and some Caribbean leaders as troubling. Now, speaking to reporters in Barbados over the weekend, Gonsalves noted that there was no true representation of CARICOM as the current chairman of the regional body. Prime Minister of St. Kitts and Nevis, Dr. Timothy Harris, was not invited to the meeting. He also pointed out that members of the CARICOM Advisory Committee, including himself, Barbados Prime Minister Mia Mottley, and Trinidad and Tobago's Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley were also not present.
None of those persons was invited. And if it is to be a true CARICOM representation, you must at least have the chairman. So that any discussion of Venezuela in that context, as at Mar-a-Lago, that it cuts across the agreed mechanisms that we have put in place. It doesn't mean that those countries don't have the right as sovereign states to have conversations with whomever they want. But remember, I take you from the revised treaty of Chaguaramas. I take you to the decisions of CARICOM, including the statement, who we have appointed, and the mechanisms. And we in CARICOM have to be very alive to the mischief that some persons may be up to seek to divide us in a manner which we ought not to be divided, and therefore reduce the extent of the efficacy of our work.
The Guyana government says Parliament will soon meet to conduct the affairs of the country following the Court of Appeal ruling that the motion of no confidence passed against the David Granger administration last December was invalid. And Minister of Foreign Affairs Carl Greenidge, who is acting president in the absence of David Granger, who is in Cuba undergoing medical treatment for cancer, is urging all citizens to continue conducting their business and go about their daily activities with the full confidence that their safety and well-being are assured. He told the nation that the ruling underscores the respect for the judiciary and separation of powers, as it has settled matters that had been discussed for a very long time and had led to some uncertainty in the society.
Henceforth, the situation as regards Parliament is restored to the position as at 21st of December prior to the vote. Arrangements will be made for Parliament to meet and conduct its business unhindered. There are no barriers to the President and the Cabinet moving forward as they see fit and without unusual hindrances.
Right, we do apologize for that video quality there, but meanwhile, Opposition Leader Barack Jagdeo said he was disappointed with the ruling and the matter will be taken to the Caribbean Court of Justice. He says the opposition People's Progressive Party will not attend any sitting of the National Assembly while the appeal is pending at the CCJ. And stay with us, your Midday Sport is next. Reactions to yesterday's cricket West Indies elections, in which Ricky Skerritt and Dr. Kishore Shallow emerged victorious, defeating Dave Cameron and Emmanuel Nanthan by 8-4. Former West Indies T20 captain Darren Sammy, in a follow-up to his previous Facebook post where he urged cricket boards to do the right thing, went back to social media elated over the result. The St. Lucian said common sense prevailed in the election.
I am very pleased at the result of the West Indies, Cricket West Indies presidential elections. I think common sense prevailed over the voters or the delegates, whoever was in charge of making the decision. And thank you to the 12 delegates who voted. Thank you so much for doing the right thing, not only for the West Indian public, but for cricket.
And Sammy believes it will not be an easy road ahead for the new leaders of West Indies cricket. That's Caribbean in 10. Join us again at 6:30 for Caribbean Newsline. Until then, good afternoon.